Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, today I want to go crappie fishing, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have no idea how it's gonna go. I've never really crappie fished in dead of the summer like this. I have just a little bit, but never had a whole lot of success at it. But I wanted to go crappie fishing today because I added something to my electronic setup. I added another active target, and I actually added a turret as well, so I can spot lock and still be able to see. So pretty excited about that. I want to play around with it, and I don't know any other way better to play with it than to try to catch some crappie. Plus, I don't have any crappie in the freezer, so let's go try to catch a few. Y'all stay tuned. There he is. That's a crappie. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, they are not easy to get to bite. I think that's gonna be a keeper. Pretty little black nose. Let's just see if he is. Yep, 10.5 incher. I like catching them great big ones just like y'all do, but when it comes down to it, that's a real good eating side. Come on, eat it, boy. Boy, that was a big one. Came up and looked at it right there. There he is. He got it. A little bit better fish. Still not one of them big fall and winter slabs. Oh, he's barely hooked too. Come in here. Another one about 10.5 inches, but I don't have any crappie in the freezer, so he is not going to be so lucky today. He's going home with us. But it took me a while. One thing about fishing this time of year that I noticed, you see a ton of bluegill this time of year. And it took me a while to find a pile that actually had some crappie in it. Once I did, then I had to play around with baits. We'll talk about the bait I'm throwing and all that good stuff here in a few minutes. But while I've got a couple of them biting, I'm gonna try to keep them going a little bit. There he is. Oh no! I hope he's still on there. Oh, let me get my line. Ah, y'all watch this goat roping. He's still on there. I gotta get back off of him so I don't spook the school. Oh, I'm trying to get this crappie in. Lord have mercy. Got him. Whew, what a mess. I hadn't changed that line since last year, and I should have known better than that, but had a bad place in it. But hey, we got the crappie in the boat nonetheless. All these crappie are about the same size. Yep, about 10 1/4, 10.5. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a good eating size. I'm just glad to be catching some in the middle of August. I'll just be honest with you. Y'all see that little loop knot I tied? That's a 1/16 crappie magnet jig head, the nickel plated one. And then let me check on the color of that jig for y'all. That particular jig is called Heavy D. Real good color. It's got some blue and some red flake. Real natural looking. That's what I use most of the time because I fish a lot of clear water. Put a little bit of chartreuse right there on that tail. 4-pound vicious panfish. High vis. A little 6-foot light action rod. Medium light actually. 2500 size reel. Good to go. Nothing real special, but it's a crappie killer. There he is. It's a nice one. Probably about an 11-incher right there. You can tell. Tell it's summertime. Y'all see how fat they are in the fall and wintertime photos I do, or videos I do, and right now they just don't have that big gut on them. They still got them fillets on them though, that's what we're worried about. There he is. And that school of crappie is small and they are sitting tight. I don't mean small in size, I mean they're sitting real tight down to that brush. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in just a second. Another good little keeper. The dang bass are schooling over here on the bank. I'm sitting out here catching crappie and I'm just torn between. I am a professional bass fisherman. I like to catch bass too. But I'm crappie fishing right now. All right, let me show y'all a little something about my setup right here and why I did what I did. So this is, in my opinion, this is like my dream electronic setup right here. I added the live foot. That's the Blitz Lures live foot. I am not sponsored by them in any way. I paid $1,300 for that sucker. But I like it. I like it so far. It's made out of good grade aluminum. It's well made. It's got a carbon fiber shaft. I'll show you guys a little bit more about it here in a little bit as far as the hardware part. But what I did, I put Active Target 2 on that turret, and then I still have Active Target 1 on my trolling motor. So here's the deal, and here's why I did it. On my trolling motor, when I'm hunting for fish, covering water, looking for brush piles, looking for bass, just made the top 10 in an Elite Series event, a Bassmaster Elite Series event at St. Clair, and I needed it on the trolling motor. I didn't want it out there on that turret because I'd be trying to do two things at once. When I'm hunting for fish, I want it on the trolling motor. But right here, I'm sitting here fishing a brush pile. Y'all see that brush pile right there? And you can see the fish actually in that brush pile. There's a crappie sitting out to the side. The bigger dots are crappie, the smaller dots are bluegill. So I'm spot locked right now. And if I was still on Active Target 1 on the trolling motor, obviously every time that trolling motor moved, that's where my transducer is going to be pointing. Well, now I can spot lock and I can sit here and watch my jig, everything it does on that. And what I've got, all I have to do to switch back and forth, I just go to menu, more options, source. There's my Active Target 1, here's my Active Target 2, and I can switch back and forth between the two. And all I do when I do that, I just hit this stop sonar on whichever one I'm on. That way I don't get interference on the other one. So I can switch back and forth. And you know, I've been doing a lot of comparing between Active Target 1, Active Target 2. Active Target 2 is a little bit clearer. I still am a bigger fan of Active Target 1, honestly. I feel like I can see stuff further out there. But if you're one of those guys that likes a real clean, crisp picture, this right here is Active Target 2. And I'm gonna move that turret around so y'all can see that brush pile. I mean, that's a pretty dang good picture. Ain't no doubt, that's a pretty darn good picture. I've got it set at 60 feet forward. You can see the brush pile right here coming up off the bottom. And these dots that are sitting real tight to the brush, those are what we're after. That's the crappie. Let's catch another one. I'm gonna try a different color on them. Put me a little bit of scent on it. See if they like that. I'm gonna go to a little bit heavier head, a little faster fall rate. See if that helps trigger them to bite. A lot of times that heavier head, it just triggers them into biting. They think it's getting away from them. There he is. First cast, he dumped that 1/8 ounce too. I mean, dump, that's a good fish. Biggest one yet for sure. Oh, he's barely hooked. Stay on there, girl. Oh, I'm gonna try it. Whew. That's a good one there. See what I mean, guys? You got to, I've talked about this a lot, but anytime you're crappie fishing, you got to try. If you got a school of fish, you got to try different things. That's the biggest one yet. That's a 12 and a half, probably 12 and a half inch crappie. Big black nose. That's a pretty one there. Getting a few fish in there. That's what I'm talking about. Now see, I came to this new spot right here. I had a waypoint on it, but this brush changes from year to year. Some of it will deteriorate and go away. Didn't know exactly where it was going to be, so I switched back to active target 1 so I can hunt it down. And then when the boat gets situated where it wants to go, I'll switch back to active target 2 on the turret, and I won't have to touch anything. Pretty dang cool setup. I'm liking it a lot so far, and there's a crappie right there. Thump. That's why I'm liking it. That's a biggest one of the day by far. Watch him come up and jump like a bass. We're gonna get down and grab this one. Let me get us back off of the, I mean, he swallowed it. Come here, boy. Come here. A little bit easier to grab than them smallmouth I've been grabbing up north. God, look at that big joker. Now that is what I'm talking about. Boys and girls, that's a good one right there. Y'all think he didn't want that crappie magnet? Look down his throat. I mean, as we say in the South, he swallowed it. That's a good fish right there. Once again, he don't have that gut on him, but that's a dang good crappie. Cool. Finally got one of them to bite. I was seeing a ton of fish here. I don't know what this is, spotted bass. That's about what I figured. All these columns got fish on them, and I was thinking, man, sure is a lot of fish for me not to get a bite. But they weren't acting like crappie, acting more like bass. That's what they are, spotted bass. I'll show you all a little more about this turret and how it works. You see this, I mean, it's pretty solid as far as where it attaches to the trolling motor. One thing I really liked about it, I've played around with a couple of different ones, and some of them are really slow. It takes them a long time, 15-20 seconds to go from one resolution to the other. And a lot of them won't give you, basically this one will give you 358 degrees. It'll go almost 360 degrees around the boat. You can see right here, it'll spin, and then it'll spin pretty much completely all the way back around. So I can see all the way around my boat, pretty much. You see how fast it is. That's one thing I really liked about it. It's got these cool little buttons. They're just about like my power pole buttons. They're wireless. Just mount them wherever you want to. Really a cool deal. This carbon fiber shaft, it is a little bit floppy. I'm getting a, they make a thing called a dog bone. It goes from the shaft of your trolling motor to here. It's basically a stabilizer arm. It's on the way. I'm gonna put it on there and I'll feel a lot safer about it, especially in rough water. But it's pretty darn spiffy, man. I like it. I really do. I'm impressed with it so far. Y'all check this out. Up until today, I've only ever seen one other rattlesnake in the wild in my life, in the part of Tennessee I live in. But y'all look, sitting right up there on that rock. He's got his head tucked up on his body right there. I don't know my rattlesnakes. I know we have eastern diamondbacks and we have timber rattlers. I don't know which one that is, and I ain't gonna get close enough to find out. I just know it's a dang rattlesnake. And we'll tell you what's crazy. There's another one right down the bank right down here. You probably won't be able to see this one, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Right under that pile of stuff right in there, there's another one laying right in there coiled up. And I also saw another one earlier this morning. So with that being said, the rattlesnakes are out. My whole life I've seen one other rattlesnake, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I've spent a lot of time in the woods, turkey hunting, deer hunting. I've spent a lot of my life in the woods, and today I've seen 3 rattlesnakes. The whole rest of my life I've seen 1 rattlesnake in Tennessee. That is crazy. There's a pretty good little wad of them sitting in this brush pile. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm looking at right here. This is a little small top, just a little small brush pile. Get my turret spun around here. See those bigger returns sitting real tight to that tree. Like this is a bluegill. These are probably bass, honestly. But those brighter returns sitting real tight to that tree, those are the crappie. There's one. Little bitty guy. Well, he come up there and smoked that bait though. It's a bait crappie magnet makes. They call that the fin spin. Kind of cool. That's called an eye hole jig. You put your slab bite inside that jig head so it lasts a long time. I talked to those guys about it at ICAST. A lot of those guys catch a lot of crappie on that bait. They told me I needed to be fishing with it more than I do, so I'm gonna play around with it a lot more this fall and winter. That one right there, he came up and smoked it. It's just a different profile. It's got that blade on it. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. You can see right here, there's some clouds look pretty mean. There's some pretty big storms coming in. So I'm gonna get on out of here and try to beat those storms. But I appreciate you guys watching. I know it's been a while since I posted any crappie content. That's what everybody, for whatever reason, that's what everybody likes, and I like doing it too. Got 3 more events left this year. I got 2 more Elite Series events coming up in New York in the next couple of weeks, and then we got a Bassmaster Open in October. But fixing to start hitting these crappie pretty hard, and super excited about getting that turret on there. 2 different active targets. I got one active target 1, one active target 2, like we talked about. And I'm really liking that setup so far. I think it's gonna help me bass fishing, and I really think it's gonna help me crappie fishing. So pretty excited about that. Y'all stay with me. I'll see you again next time right here, Brandon Lester Fishing.